When you model in NURBS, there are many times when you'll need to convert those surfaces to polygons. So Maya has a number of ways to do that. So let's take a look at that. Now, conversion happens under the Modify panel, and we have a Convert menu. Now, if I tear this off, you'll see that we've got a lot of different options here. We have NURBS to polygons, NURBS to subdiv, and so on. We have subdiv to NURBS. So we can actually move between different types of geometry fairly easily. Now, probably the most common method is to take NURBS and bring them into polygons for things such as gaming and so on. So let's go ahead and convert this simple NURBS object to polygons. So I'm going to go to Modify, Convert NURBS to polygons, and let's go ahead and take a look at the options. Now, the options for this are really right here. There's the type of geometry we want. Do we want triangles or do we want quads? I'm going to leave that at triangles for right now. The tessellation method. We have general, standard fit, count, and control points. I'm going to go ahead and go to general. And this is probably the most intuitive way to do this. And basically what it does is it takes each one of these isoparms and turns it into a polygon edge, and then it also interpolates it. So if we set this per span of isoparms on both of these, and then we can dial up the number of edge loops in between those isoparms. So I'm going to subdivide each one of these little patches 3 times. And then the output is going to be triangles. So if we do a tessellate, you'll see it creates a separate object. And there's my tessellation. And as you can see, it's added some detail and turned this into a polygonal mesh. Now I can do this again and change it to quads, which most people like, and do another tessellation. Now, a lot of people prefer to model in quads, and so this is just one way to do that. Now, another way to convert NURBS to polygons is to take into account the curvature of the object. And when an object is more curved, you want to add a little bit more detail to account for those curves. Now, doing a general sort of conversion might not get you the optimum number of polygons, and this can be important for things such as gaming. So let's go into Modify, Convert, NURBS to polygons, and let's change that from general to standard fit. Now I'm going to leave this at the defaults, and let's go ahead and just do a tessellate. And as you can see, this is tessellating very differently. So as the curvature of the surface gets more intense, it actually adds detail and then gives it less detail when there is less curvature. So you can see the differences here. This has a lot more detail than this, and this is actually giving you more curvature up here. Now we can also do very specific types of conversions here. So if we want, we can go into a count. Now this will limit this to a maximum number of polygons. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to say 250, and let's do a tessellate. And when I do that, you can see how it limits it to no more than that number of polygons. And it's actually giving me a much lower polygon count than either this or this, but that may actually be able to work for a gaming context or something like that. Now there's one more, and let's go ahead and take a look at that. And that's called control points, and that will basically just use the control points as the tessellation method. So wherever you have control points on your object, it'll go ahead and turn that into polygons. This is probably the most brute force method. It gives you the least amount of control, but again, it may be useful. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different ways to convert NURBS surfaces to polygons in Maya.